Oh my God, that would be so epic if I reached under my chair and there was like a packet of Gender Euphoria, or just like a big glittery sign that said Gender Euphoria, and like you'd called in advance and got a hold of my lover and said, "Can you put this thing under this thing for me? Because I'm doing this thing and it's going to be epic for future interviews that you do."
Yeah. I'm Jasper Lior, and this is Gender Euphoria, the podcast where we break down what gender euphoria is and talk about the beautiful, wonderful, incredible parts of trans identity. Today, I'm with Miha, who you might also know as Dandilion. Miha is a two-spirit educator, organizer, and whore. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me here.
I like to start by asking people how they identify and what their pronouns are.
Yeah, so I go by they, their, or two-spirit as a pronoun. And I have so many old, new, budding, dying, and rebirthing identities. I identify as indigiqueer. I am sexual. I'm kinky and multi-amorous. I am a double Aquarian with a Scorpio moon. I'm a disruptor, a warrior. I'm a moody jaguar. I'm a pack mule. I am part unicorn and all fabulous. I am so many ever-changing identities.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, as you are, and I'm so excited to talk to you. What does gender euphoria mean to you?
So gender euphoria, I think, is super traditional to many indigenous cultures. And so to me, it means I'm honoring my ancestors by living authentically. Gender euphoria is part of being liberated in my body's needs, desires, and physical presence. It means I'm not misgendered or really gendered at all. And it means assumptions about my body and what it is or isn't able or allowed to do isn't limited by a male-female binary. It's getting the gazes that I want and not getting the ones that I don't.
I love that definition of it. How was gender euphoria taught to you as an indigenous person? You were saying that it's like a tradition.
Yeah, I don't think that it was ever taught to me, but when I learned about being two-spirit, I was taught that like who I am is more of a celebration and less of a strange thing or a burden or like something weird or different or alternate. It's like, oh, no. Like this is like you and who you are and how you are, and you have a place and, you know, a role among your community and the world.
Did you feel supported by your community when you were finding this language?
No, I think growing up, I was very much told to like sit down, shut up, quit being so loud, quit being different and weird and trying to do things opposite of what like people were telling me. I don't think I was supported at all in those things, but like inside, I just knew that it was okay and I was all right. And I didn't understand why the adults were telling me to be something I'm not.
Yeah.
Especially when they're like, you can be anything you want in the world. You just can't be how you're telling us you are. But, you know, like I did have some relatives who did embrace me and support me, but they weren't like the main people in my life all the time. So it's like felt really good to like have praise in some places, but then like home was not like a place where that person was embraced.
Yeah. What does gender euphoria feel like to you?
Gender euphoria for me feels like how I imagine emergence or like entropy feels. It's like a spring popping out of the soil and forming a creek or a river, or like a new galaxy exploding into existence. It feels really powerful and affirming. It feels like I'm in the right place. It feels like I fit and I have purpose. And it feels like a good stretch in the sunshine. It doesn't come without challenges, and yet with ease of knowing. And it's like a yes, like an orgasmic, it's definitely orgasmic like sensation, right? It's just, it hits the spot. And I also feel gender euphoria when I witness others gain access to their own gender euphoria. Like that feels really like, uplifting and bright, light, shiny.
Yeah, it's definitely orgasmic. They live in the same world for sure.
Yeah, they live in the same world with sneezes. Sneezes are like little mini orgasms.
They definitely do.
So sneezes, orgasms, and gender euphoria.
The things we live for.
Yeah.
I am just like in my own journey starting to come into my sexual being in this new identity that I have as like a genderqueer person. And I am so excited to have trans sex and like, you know, be genderqueer and gender euphoric in my sexual life and like kind of find this new kind of sex for myself that I haven't experienced before because I haven't had the circumstances or like been in the place in my own life to even know that that's a thing that I wanted or could have. So I'm curious if you have thoughts about that.
Well, I've been having strange sex and touch for like my whole life. I've been a very sexual person, so I don't feel like that's new for me. I've always been really experimental and multifaceted in avenues for sex and sexuality since I've been really young. I think the only difference is like instead of it kind of being like a secret, you know, for a while, like now I'm just like really out and proud and like we'll say the thing, you know, and like people's jaws will just like drop and I'm like, it's okay, I can talk about that, you know, like does not have to be a secret. So I think that that's what changed for me is just it going from being like secret and hidden or taboo to like, this is me and a part of me and something that I do. And you know, somebody asked me the other day about like what my morning routine is, you know, and I was like, yeah, I like to like wake up and maybe I'll masturbate and go back to bed or maybe I'll masturbate and it really just gets me going. So I pop right out of bed and I'm ready for the day, you know, like it. And they were just like, thank you for sharing that. I didn't expect that to be said as a part of a morning routine. I'm like, well, is it ever a part of your morning routine? And they're like, yeah, but I just like leave that part out. And I'm like, why? Like, shouldn't people know that you're like taking care of yourself and like experiencing pleasure and like, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you asked. Like you didn't say
ask.
You didn't say tell me about your morning routine, but leave out any of the bits that might be, you know, unfamiliar to me.
That I perceive as shameful onto you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I was listening to Laverne Cox's podcast. Great podcast. Really recommend it. And she was talking to Alok, another human who I really recommend. Maybe this wasn't the Alok episode, but that one was very good too. But one of those two people in some podcast form said, like, one way to heal shame is, like, to speak shameful things out loud and have them met with empathy. And that is, like, that's, like, the kick that I've been on since I've heard that. And I am, like, yeah. I'm excited to, like, reclaim my kink and, like, my sexual side and just like talking to you, you know?
Yeah.
It's not shameful.
No,
you know?
It only is when we like hide those things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of my own personal integrity, which is one of my 3 core values, is that I trust myself a lot and like I don't do things that I would be embarrassed to talk about, you know. I mean, sometimes, not say I don't get embarrassed because I do embarrassing shit all the time, but like I don't keep secrets from myself like that, you know, like I don't do things that are going to internalize shame for me, which leaves things pretty open.
But like, you know, I feel like if you asked anybody to just like think about how they wanted to be as a human, they would want to be like an unapologetic, not shameful, authentic version of themselves. And like, you are a great example of how you can be that in this world of shame and apology and like inauthenticity.
Now I'm thinking about all the embarrassing things I've done.
What is a moment of gender euphoria that stands out in your life?
Well, I think that I was born with gender euphoria, and I think that we all are. I think it's been tried to be shut down, and my intuition has been challenged. But when friends or lovers use two-spirit as my pronoun, that feels really outstanding. Feeling truly recognized and honored for who I am personally and culturally. I think that, like, when I have sex or having sex with myself, I feel very in my power and in my gender euphoria. When I have sex with other two-spirit people, that like feels like the most intense, powerful sex to me. Like it just feels like the key has been put in and is unlocking this other dimension. You know, it's just really, it's euphoric, right? It's gender euphoric. It's a otherworldly experience. It's like feeling the universe in like our bodies, in our minds, in our lungs, in our blood.
Yeah. I mean, everybody like talks about T for T.
Yeah.
Like, that definitely fits
2
the
for
umbrella
2.
of 2 for 2, yeah.
Oh my God, I so have to make that sticker and take those to a gathering.
You got it.
Back to euphoria.
Well, this is actually a good segue into that. What is really seeing your gender these days?
Okay, so I'm reluctant about being seen. I like to be like a seed. Like I'm there, but not everyone understands like how I'm doing. But creator recognizes me and creator knows why I am. I feel felt by the creator, or by creator, not the creator, by creator, by creation. I feel representation in the words and fashion of Alok by Ed Menon, and witnessing the gender liberation of singer Sam Smith. Reading about another Black or Indigenous non-binary person out there in the world doing their thing as they want to be. Ty Defoe, who has done so much, check him out. Uhen, a two-spirit friend of mine, made me a beaded medallion patch, which is like essentially a fancy necklace. And it has they, them pronouns on it. And they made it because they were frustrated in hearing me get misgendered in two-spirit spaces. And I felt really warm and noticed with that gesture for sure. When I see the color yellow, I'm inclined to reflect about myself and how not everyone can see yellow. And I feel seen in that color, and it makes so much sense that I would be something that not everybody can see. Such is my life.
Great answer. Also makes sense why you are Dandelion.
Totally. And everybody thinks it's a weed, but I'm really good for you.
Yeah.
Good for your digestion, you know, a little bit of a filter. I handle all the nasties.
Very important in this ecosystem.
Right, and dandelions, you blow one and we're everywhere.
Yes, I love that. I like naming myself after an element as well. I was needing a lot of grounding in the time of picking my name, so I feel like we got there. What do you love about being two-spirit, indigiqueer, trans, non-binary, not cis?
Yeah, I love options. I love being able to be fluid in a moment in what I can do. I love that I can have so many looks and express myself with what I wear. I love that I'm an example for others to explore and embody their own liberation. I love being able to be myself. I love carrying tradition and honoring my ancestors by reminding folks that I belong, that we all belong. Just love it.
Would you say you love love?
I would say I love love.
I love love too. I'm on a big joy kick these days.
Oh, that's also one of my core values. Integrity, joy, and stewardship are my 3 core values.
Great core values.
Thank you. I think so.
Yeah. I feel like we're kind of in a push, or like what I'm seeing in the circles that I'm in is like we are using joy to like reclaim a lot of nastiness and hatred and trauma that has just been like put upon us throughout these generations. And like I am so excited for this like burst of joy that's coming out of the world right now, and I hope to be a part of that, and I am, and like, you know, more, always more. There's never enough.
That's right. Things are super shitty, but that doesn't mean I can't like have something to be happy about. Even if it's like just myself in some sweet ass outfit.
And that is like not even a just thing. That's like, hell yeah. That's something to be ecstatic about.
I'm not even that flashy of a dresser, but like I feel, you know, like whatever, I'm still empowered by putting on what I do.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I have a capsule wardrobe. So, which I love that, like, I love to have minimal clothing in my life, and I love that everything goes with everything else.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you think you have, like, I guess you trust your intuition. I was going to ask, like, how do you think you have so much awareness about yourself?
I don't know. I talk to other people about things sometimes and then they're like, wow, they're like, you're really like in tune with your body and like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I think it's a gift. I don't know where it comes from. It's pretty badass though. It's pretty awesome. I saw a thing on Netflix about pleasure the other day. It was pretty good. It's cute. And they talked about, I forget the word. They use like a scientific-y word about like being aware of like your body and like its functions. I'm like, oh my God, that's me. I do that. Like I'm that type of person. And I guess there's like different like spectrums of awareness you can have in that. But
we're so fucking magic.
Yeah. So magic. And people are scared by that shit though, and I don't know. It's very helpful.
Yeah. People are scared by that. I think that probably, like, innately we all have some amount of that magic within us. And, like, it's very intentionally suppressed. And that we are intentionally taught to not look for it and not get in tune with it. And, like, the people who do get in tune with it go on to do amazing things. And I'm grateful.
Yeah, that's why I say that, like, gender euphoria is, like, being liberated in my body's needs and desires and physical presence, like that knowingness about myself is in itself euphoria. And it like doesn't all have to be like so like orgasmic or like even necessarily pleasurable. Like gender euphoria is functional, right? Like gender euphoria informs my body about what it needs or what it doesn't need anymore of, or I think that we don't always, I feel like people have been taught in like how we're supposed to experience like what euphoria or pleasure these things are, but we lose sight or feeling of other ways to experience those things and like other ways they show up, because it's not all like always about happiness or pleasure, right? Like I can still have gender euphoria and be feeling some hard shit. And that gets to be okay too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing, like, to think about, talk about. I feel like I'm like definitely at the beginning stages of my journey in this. And like, I'm so excited. I have such amazing role models and people to look up to. And like, there's so much. It's so expansive. Can't wait.
Mm-hmm. I'm in it to win it, I'm here to do it.
You're doing it.
Present.
And accounted for.
Yes.
Well, I'll plug you on the internet at the end, but like, is there more you want to say? Anything else?
Yeah, well, I don't friend people I don't know on Facebook, but I'm there and accessible if you want to look and share things or see things that I share. I'm on Insta as The Loving Warrior or Dandelion Cloverdale. I'm on an episode of Sexplanations on YouTube about being two-spirit. There's also a Sexplanations podcast with a similar episode that I'm on about doing sacred sexuality. There's definitely some videos out there if you do some sleuthing. And let folks know that you can email me to book workshops on identity, sexuality, colonization, and gender, or mostly whatever, at thelovingwarrior@gmail.com.
Hell yeah. Is Sexplanations, they're a Missoula person, right?
Yeah, Lindsay Doe. She doesn't live in Missoula anymore. I think she lives in Baja now. But Lindsay and I met a long time ago when I was working for Missoula AIDS Council. Yeah, good friend. We don't talk enough, but good friend.
That's okay. I'm sure you have a lot of good friends and lovers all over the world that,
Not enough time.
Your seeds spread far and wide.
That's right. That's right. I don't even think dandelions were originally from this continent, so it's been a long journey.
Well, I'm so happy that your journey brought you here today. Thanks so much for chatting with me, for coming on today.
It's an honor.
Same here.
Same there.
Same here, same there, same everywhere. Same underwear.
Oh, yeah. Euphoria for everyone. You get gender euphoria. You get gender euphoria. You get gender euphoria.
And actually, if you look under your chair right now,
Right now?
Our producers planted seeds of gender euphoria. Yeah, but seriously, thank you. Thanks for listening. Please rate, review, and follow for more conversations with folks from across the gender galaxy. Show notes and photos to go with each episode are on our Instagram, @Gender Euphoria Pod. If you or someone you know needs to talk to somebody about gender, visit thetrevorproject.org. If you or somebody you know wants to talk to me about gender on this podcast, email info@queervideography.com. Gender Euphoria is produced on Massachusetts, Pawtucket, and Naumkeag land. More information about the Massachusetts tribe can be found at massachusettstribe.org. Gender Euphoria is a queer videography podcast, produced by Alana Capra and Jack Hallowell. Music by Jasper Lior. Love yourself, listen to your body, and gender boldly. Apple trees and honeybees, the ocean breeze, a really good sneeze. There's genderqueer and genderfuck, non-binary and ladies who tuck. There's trans man, thank you ma'am, the girls, the gays, the theys, going out for a swim in a sea of manta rays. We're all eating to poop and pooping to eat in whatever bathroom I take a seat. And we're all just humans, homos looking for love. We're all just humans, except the cats and aliens.